Space exploration always gets my imagination going.
It's amazing, isn't it?
It is, but it's usually just star charts and headlines about new jump points. This time, though, you've really outdone yourself. These sources are incredible.
Glad you think so.
Yeah, they've got the real stories, the human side of these discoveries.
It's one thing to plot a course through the stars.
Right.
But it's another thing entirely to hear about the people who actually dared to go there,
Exactly. And some of these stories, they're almost unbelievable. Like, take Nick Croshaw.
Oh, a legend.
For good reason. 2271, he takes a modified ship into the Niso Triangle.
Which back then people thought was some kind of like a cosmic dead end.
Exactly, and boom, humanity's first jump point.
Changed everything.
That single discovery opened up the galaxy for us. It's like, what was it like for those first explorers who crossed the ocean or set foot on a new continent?
Exactly. This is a whole new level of exploration.
It really makes you appreciate those early pioneers.
It does.
And speaking of pioneers, Toshi Aaron. Talk about guts. She funded her own exploration by fishing in the Magnus system.
Dangerous business, that. But it shows the kind of dedication and drive these early explorers had.
I mean, most people wouldn't even dream of venturing into Magnus for a vacation, let alone to make a living so they can afford to explore even further. It really makes you wonder what drove them,
Well, I think for many of them, it was that pure, unadulterated thirst for the unknown.
It really makes you think. Then you've got the human colonial expansion era, from 2380 to 2530. It's hard to imagine the sheer excitement of that time.
Discovery after discovery.
New systems popping up left and right, everyone scrambling to stake their claim in this new frontier. It must have been absolute chaos.
It was a wild time, and it really shaped the galaxy as we know it today. I mean, look at Bremen.
Resources galore.
Exactly. And then there's Oratani, which became a central hub for trade. It wasn't just about the thrill of discovery anymore. It was about resources, economics, politics, and unfortunately, where you have all of that,
there's bound to be conflict.
Exactly.
And nothing exemplifies that better than the Vandul attack on Armitage in 2681.
Sobering event that was.
Absolutely. One minute you're celebrating humanity's expansion into the galaxy. The next you're reminded that we're not alone in some of those encounters.
They don't go so well.
It's a harsh reminder of the risks involved in exploring the unknown.
Risks and the ethical considerations.
Speaking of which, we have to talk about Vernon Tarr.
Oh, no, his story is a wild one.
2438. He has this run-in with a Banu fugitive. Now, keep in mind, this is before the Interstellar Peace and Trade Accord. Tensions were high.
High is an understatement.
They didn't know what to make of each other.
And Tarr, he accidentally fires on the Banu ship.
Yeah. Could have started an interstellar war before we even knew it.
Luckily, cooler heads prevailed. General Neil Sokolovich stepped in. Amazing diplomat, Sokolovich. And that incident, believe it or not, paved the way for the peace accord we have with the Banu today.
It just goes to show you exploration isn't just about charting stars and jumping into the unknown.
There's a whole lot of diplomacy involved.
A whole lot. And cultural understanding. What we consider normal behavior could be totally alien to another species. It's like that old saying, when in Rome.
Right. But on a galactic scale.
Exactly. And speaking of pushing the boundaries, we can't forget those who tried to, let's just say, bend the rules a little.
You're talking about Aja Firmino.
The one and only.
Ambitious, she was. Maybe a little too ambitious.
That's one way to put it. Discovering the Tohill system with her partner, Alicia Suin, should have been their claim to fame. But Firmino, she wanted all the glory for herself.
And she went to great lengths to get it.
Trying to erase your partner's contributions, talk about a recipe for disaster, especially with the DOT involved.
The Department of Transportation does not mess around when it comes to interstellar travel regulations and especially discovery claims.
They're serious about keeping things fair and square.
As they should be. There's a lot at stake.
Absolutely. So, Firmino's deception, well, the DOT saw right through it.
They always do.
Public humiliation, legal battles. She even got denied entry trying to get back into Levski. Talk about a fall from grace.
Karma, some might say.
It makes you think twice about those seeking fame through exploration, doesn't it?
Firmino's story, it really makes you appreciate those who played by the rules,
Right, like this Nose Ruth, the Sheen explorer.
Ah, yes.
Yeah.
In 2542, she discovered a jump point connecting Sheen space directly to Gurzel.
Which was human-controlled at the time. Talk about a geopolitical bombshell. I mean, that's like finding a secret passage straight into someone's backyard. But on a galactic scale, you'd think she'd be hailed as a hero back home.
Not quite.
What do you mean?
Well, the Sheen, they value order and control, right?
Right.
They saw her discovery as a breach of protocol, a threat to their borders, instead of a hero's welcome.
She got reprimanded.
Let's just say her discovery caused quite a stir in the Xi'an Empire.
Wow, talk about culture clash. It really goes to show one culture's breakthrough is another culture's breach of protocol.
Exactly. It's all about perspective.
That's for sure. It reminds me of this other explorer in your notes, Eli Price.
Oh, Price, yes. His story is a perfect example of the moral dilemmas you can face in exploration. He was a UEE Navy lieutenant, chasing down what he thought were dangerous criminals.
Outlaws, right.
Yeah, in 2587. He follows them through what turns out to be the Oyakastor jump point.
Yeah.
Well, he finds them. But they weren't criminals in the traditional sense. They were human separatists trying to make a life for themselves independent of the UEE.
Wow. So what did he do? Does he look the other way?
He was a UE Navy man, through and through. He reported them.
Oh, wow.
Led to a military confrontation. And, well, it didn't end peacefully for everyone. Really weighed on Price afterward. He eventually left the Navy, became a defense attorney.
Talk about a life-changing discovery.
Right. Makes you think about the true cost of exploration.
Not just the money and the tech.
It's about the human cost, the unintended consequences, the ethical dilemmas.
Heavy stuff. And speaking of heavy, the story of Adeliz Dian, it's both fascinating and terrifying.
Disappearing into the unknown, it's something that captures the imagination, doesn't it?
It does. So we have this brilliant terraforming engineer, disappears in 2317.
Investigating a radiation anomaly, right?
Yeah, turns out it wasn't just any anomaly, it was a jump point, now known as the Banshee system in her honor.
Fitting tribute, considering...
Absolutely, but it still leaves us with more questions than answers. Did she make it through the jump point? Or was she lost in there? We may never know.
The mystery persists.
It does. And then there's the case of Marie Sante.
Ah, the Horus System. Another enigma.
Right. She discovers this system, keeps it shrouded in secrecy. It's like she was playing a high-stakes game with the UKE.
They weren't too happy about her secrecy.
I can imagine. Trying to control access to a whole star system. That's a bold move.
It is. Especially considering the UPE stance on, well...
territorial control.
Exactly. And then in 2545, she vanishes.
Thus like that.
Gone without a trace. Was it an accident? Did she choose to disappear? We just don't know.
It's a good thing some explorers are more about documentation than disappearing acts.
Right. Speaking of which, let's talk about the stellar surveyors.
The cartographers of the cosmos.
Precisely. Not the most glamorous job, maybe, but absolutely essential.
Charting the way ahead. Their motto says it all.
They're the ones making sure we're not just stumbling around blindly out there, mapping the galaxy for the UEE.
It's like those old maps from centuries ago with all those blank spaces.
Here be dragons.
Exactly. But thanks to groups like the Stellar Surveyors, we're slowly but surely filling in those blanks.
And uncovering more than a few surprises along the way, I'm sure.
I bet. Makes you wonder what stories they could tell. But hey, at least they're making the galaxy a little less daunting for the rest of us, right?
Absolutely. They're building on the work of countless explorers who came before them, paving the way for those who will come after.
It's like this incredible chain of exploration stretching across time and space. And, you know, for some people, exploration isn't a career, it's in their blood. Take Dawson Silcoco, for instance.
What a story. Crashes his spaceship, uses the insurance money to buy a new one.
And then discovers the Gurzel system. You can't make this stuff up.
Some people are just born to explore, I guess. Like, take Errol Navis, an accountant.
An accountant who discovers a star system. That's one for the grandkids.
Right. He loved taking his daughter on these weekend trips in his ship, just exploring local systems.
And bam, discovers the Oso system in 2861.
Even named it after his daughter. How cool is that?
That's amazing. Shows you don't need to be a seasoned explorer to make a big discovery. Sometimes all it takes is a sense of adventure and a little bit of luck.
A whole lot of luck, in Navis's case. And then you have those who make history by, well, doing something completely unexpected. Like Kofi Bauma.
This Bauma, they discovered the Tamsa system in 2943. Now, most explorers, they'd name it after themselves, right? Or maybe some bigwig back home. But not Bauma. They negotiated with the UEE to name it after a human artist, Tamsa Wheel.
It's a testament to the power of art to transcend boundaries. This wasn't just about claiming a system for the Banu. It was about recognizing artistic brilliance, regardless of species.
And can we just take a moment to appreciate the audacity? To say, hey, UEE, I found this cool system. Mind if I name it after this human artist I really like? That's some next-level diplomacy right there.
It certainly turned heads. Yeah. The story gets even better. Bauma actually got to meet Tamsa Wheel in 2945.
No way! Get out of here! Are you serious?
It's true. They even documented the whole thing. Talks about a meeting of the minds. You have this explorer pushing the boundaries of the known galaxy, and this artist pushing the boundaries of human expression.
Amazing. It's, like you said earlier, exploration. It's not just about the stars themselves. It's about connecting with the universe in all these incredible ways. Art, diplomacy, understanding different cultures. It's kind of mind-blowing when you think about it.
It really is.
Yeah.
And it's something that continues to inspire us today. These stories, they remind us that there's still so much out there to discover.
It makes our little corner of the galaxy feel a lot bigger, doesn't it?
It does. It makes you realize that the exploration, it's never truly over.
Yeah.
Every new jump point, every new system, every encounter, it has the potential to rewrite what we know about the universe.
It's kind of humbling when you really think about it, but it's also incredibly exciting.
It is. And that sense of excitement, that thirst for knowledge, it's something that connects us all, no matter who we are or where we come from.
It's been amazing exploring these stories with you. I feel like we've only scratched the surface.
We've only just begun to chart this particular course.
And for those listening who maybe feel that pull of the unknown, that desire to explore, remember, you don't need a fancy spaceship or an official title to be an explorer. Keep asking questions, keep learning, keep pushing the boundaries of your own understanding.
The galaxy is full of wonders just waiting to be discovered.
Well said. Until next time, keep exploring, everyone.